BT's Body and Balance is sponsored by Canada Diagnostic Centres, offering MRI, X-ray, and ultrasound services in Calgary and Okotoks.
It's a word that's been popping up in pop culture a lot lately, the term narcissism. And just last week, Kanye West was accused of narcissism after demanding his audience stand up before he continued to perform. But what does the term really mean? Our health specialist, Leah Sarich, now with what being narcissistic and when it turns into a personality disorder, because there's a lot of talk about selfishness and, of course, in the era of social media, taking photos of oneself. But what is it really?
That's a very distinct difference. Yes. So let's talk about this. So the term comes from the mythological Greek youth Narcissus. So we're going way back to talk about this. He basically fell in love with his own image while looking in a pool of water. So there's two stories here, really. One version is he dies actually of starvation because all he does is look at himself in the pool of water. The other one is that he turns into the flower narcissist. So that's a little bit nicer. But this is where this whole idea is coming from. So there's the general sense of the word, which refers to someone who is, let's go over those traits. So arrogant, vain, self-centered, lacking in empathy for others. So it's all about them, right? Now these can be just narcissistic personality traits. So they can just be traits. But when these traits become very prominent in someone's personality, then when they start leading to dysfunctional behavior, and it becomes a pattern of dysfunctional behavior, then we're merging into the area of this mental illness. So I spoke with a psychiatrist about this, and he outlines what this means.
If those traits are so prominent that it interferes with a person's ability to function in important areas like forming relationships, like working, like your career, or schooling, if the narcissistic pattern of understanding and relating to others interferes with your ability to function in many domains of your life, you call that a narcissistic personality disorder.
There you go. That kind of outlines this. Now, what I found really fascinating about this is that narcissistic personality disorder is much more common than I thought. 1% of the population are living with this. 1%. So that's 10,000 people in Calgary that actually have the mental illness.
Wow.
So not just the people that have some of these traits or have a little bit of this going on in their personality. This is the number of people that are actually dealing with mental illness. So that is a lot.
That's incredible.
That is an incredible amount of people.
It is.
Yes. So that is a huge amount of people. Now, some of these traits, I do want to be clear, you could imagine may help a person become successful. So just think about that for a second. So if they're very self-confident, for example, if they lack a little bit of empathy for others, they might be a bit more ruthless when they're making decisions and things like that. That could certainly help them be a little bit more successful. But again, a person with true narcissistic personality disorder experiences so much dysfunction in their life, in all areas of their life. They're not going to be successful at anything, either keeping a job or being in a relationship. So that's very clear. They also would not be successful in any kind of treatment. This is what is very interesting, yes, because someone, of course, with this illness doesn't think there's anything wrong with them, right? It's everybody else that's making all these mistakes and making my life so hard. So Dr. Patton explains why treatment is actually very difficult for this group of people.
A person who is quite narcissistic would probably not seek help with the